Hi friends. So I just went and got three black currant little baby plants as well as three marionberry roots. So I'm going to go ahead and transfer those over so that I don't have any shock or anything like that going on. So let's go ahead, let's get to it. Before we start transplanting, I thought I'd show you some of my irises. Isn't this beautiful? And look at this one here too. It's like a light purple. It's so pretty. So here are the plants I just got. So in here, there's supposed to be three. I only saw two, but there's supposed to be three marionberries in here. We'll see. I believe so. And then I've got three of these black currants, which I'm really excited about. I have some large black pots I'm going to use. And while we're over here, these are the figs that I transplanted recently. Look at that. Nice. That's promising. And slide on over. Look at those potatoes. And those potatoes. Sweet. I've got some soil here, and I've got some bagged soil. I'm going to kind of mix them together. So I'm just mixing these two together. This one's really dry. And this one's not so much. I'm just going to mix them pretty good. Oops, I don't want to smash the poor little wormy. Put this in the Vivex bamboo. This is Vivex. It's going to be massive. There's lots of worms in here. Whoa, look at that. Another one. That's beautiful. So there must have been a hole in this bag, or there were eggs in the bag and they hatched in the soil. That can happen for good or for bad. This time it's for good. Okay, and I'm just gonna mix it around, get out the big clumps. I guess I could actually use this container. This one's a lot bigger. I think I might actually use that for one of the plants. That'll be one less time I have to up pot, you know. Wow, there are just masses of worms in here. Look at that. And in there. Wow, that's beautiful. Very happy. So that's probably as deep as I want that one to be. And for this black currant, remember, just massage the container to loosen it. And then I'm going to use two hands to remove it. So this is what the root mass looks like. And I'm going to just kind of scratch it a little bit to loosen the roots. And I'm going to plant up around it. And I'm not going to plant above the line. I'm going to plant to the same spot. And that's the first one. And I think with all that rich organic matter and all the worm castings and things in there, that this is going to be a very healthy plant. This is black currant. Okay, so I slid that one off to the side. I'm going to dump half of this into here and half of that into each of these. All right, so I'm going to plant them at just the same level as they were before. And I have to be careful not to hurt the worms. There are so many in there. So I'm just being very gentle now. All right, so all three of the black currants are done. I'm going to label them in a minute, but then I have to do the marionberries, which are all into that one container. And you know, there's always interruptions in projects, but I see I have got some, I believe, gladiolas here, and someone dumped them out of a container, and they're going to die if I don't replant them. So I'm going to do that really fast. And I'm going to put them into this container here. And I've got soil here. I'm going to go ahead and shovel that in. Okay, now I'm going to shovel in soil all the way around, and like you can actually see the bulb sticking out. And this will be really pretty once things start blooming. So it's worth my time to stop that other project, just momentarily anyway. Okay, so the gladiolas are in this very large pot. I'm going to see my arm length. It's a very large pot full of soil that was all piled here, but now is in one container, all polywatered, and in a little bit it's pretty dry. So I'm going to use the soil from the bags. I might mix it with a little bit of the potting stuff that's left from another project. I'm going to put in those 3 containers. Well, I sure hope I haven't been flipping the camera upside down. I did put those soil into those 3 containers. I did mix in a little bit of the potting soil, just a tiny bit. Tons of worms in here, earthworms, that's nice. And then I'm going to grab the Marionberry starts. And let's see what we have in here. This will be like Christmas. Okay, it's kind of prickly. Okay, there's that one. There's this one here. And then he said that there's another one in here. And there is. Yay. Perfect. Okay. So I'll make sure I have enough soil, enough space to plant it as deep as it was before. So it looks like to here. As I'm adding soil, I'm kind of spreading out the roots so that I get good contact with the soil in all areas. Set that up. Don't want to tear it off. There we go. I don't want big clumps. Look at the worm. Happy little worms. Okay. I'm going to take some of this sawdust that was being used just to keep them damp. I'm going to use it like a little mulch on top. Not too much. I don't want it to be like cement. Some of my dry soil. Watch it turn into cement now. I like to cover it with kind of like material that's not living, because the sun just really bleaches the life out of the soil, the top layer. So there's the first one. This will be the second one. Be very careful of the roots. Don't want to hurt anything. My phone is so nasty and dirty now. I'm gonna have to wash it. Okay. Lots of worms. You can see them as I'm adding the soil, huh? This is just sawdust. And then we're on to the third one. I want to be very careful. Don't want to hurt it. Oops. I don't know what that is. I'm going to go ahead and plant it just in case. And right after you transplant something, you don't want it in the hottest place of your yard. You want it so it can get a little bit of shade. Otherwise it's gonna fry. Lots of life in my soil. I think I'm gonna put some of the rock around the currants because they're in a really large container and they'll probably be in here for a couple of years. So I'll put the rock around them. I'm not going to put the rock around the marionberry because these will probably be transplanted at least once in the next year. So I'm going to go ahead and shovel this up. I'll do that off camera and show you what it looks like. So here we have the currants with the rocks around them. I think that looks pretty cute. That pot here is actually a pretty cute pot. The other ones are kind of just nursery pots, but they're really large. So these will look pretty cool for a while. I like the rocks because the top layer of soil doesn't get bleached out from the sun and lose all its nutrients. And when I'm watering, it doesn't splash mud all over the plants, which can also minimize disease. So those are looking good. I'm going to water and put labels. So I watered these guys in. Gave some water to the gladiolas and the potatoes and the little volunteer tomatoes in there. And I'm going to move these guys to the shade. This is where I have the little acorn trees. And it's in the shade of a cherry tree and a kiwi vine. So that'll be a good place for the marionberries until they're established. Alright, so I've got the 3 marionberries in the shade of the cherry tree and the kiwi vines next to the baby oak trees. One last look at my currants. We'll have to do an update when they get older and more mature, but look how beautiful they look. Got my trash, grabbing my canisters. Uh-oh, I've got more gladiolas down there. I'm gonna have to transplant those soon. Not today though, I'm tired. Alright everyone, I'll call that a wraps for today. Hopefully you're getting out in the garden whenever you have a moment to spare, and I'm really interested to know, what are you planting and what are you transplanting and potting and thinking about planting and dreaming about planting. Alright everyone, I'll see you next time. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Bye bye.